Welcome to the Angels Brief, the podcast series. We bring together the smartest minds in angel investing and ambitious startup founders to share their stories, insights, experience, and much more. The host for today's episode is Duran York, the CEO of Cityside Ventures and the co-founder of Birmingham Angels. So let's get to it.
Welcome, David, to our Angel Brief podcast. We started this year with the intention of promoting and maybe demystifying a little bit about everything about angel investing. And we know that Michigan have a lot of development and rocking in a lot of areas, but we still feel that early stage capital is still not in a sufficient level here. So we bringing all the stakeholders to talk about it. The audience for the podcast is investors, potential investors, people that are sitting on the sideline, kind of decide what they want to do.
Right.
So it's honor and privilege that you're here. You know, there's nobody more qualified to talk about it than you.
If longevity is the criterion, you're correct.
I don't know. But, so Professor Brophy is graduate from Ohio State University, right, with got an MBA from University of Detroit and BA from San Francisco. Xavier University, joining the University of Michigan faculty in 1968.
66.
66?
Yeah.
Wow.
They made an error, whoever wrote that.
Okay. Dedicated almost 5 decades to entrepreneurship, business. Kind of some people say he's the guru for entrepreneurship at University of Michigan. You'll take this, right?
Yeah.
And also...
The pay is not great, but yes, I'll do it.
Also the founding director of the Michigan Growth Capital Symposium, which I attended more than once, over 36 years ago. Additional serve in many capacities on various boards and various advisory positions as Munder Capital, General Motors Acceptance, and many more. We can talk about it. Mm-hmm. So in Michigan, when we say entrepreneurship and startups, University of Michigan, your name is always synonymous to that. So as I said, part of the intention in this podcast is talk about the importance of angel investors in the ecosystem. So what's your perspective?
We might have more angels if we had more sizable venture capital funds. Start with that, because angel investors want to see the next round. And that's a very difficult chasm.
Right.
And I suspect that over the years, a number of people who thought of themselves as angels ended up disappointed and so on. Nonetheless, they're very important.
Right.
And so we are doing a certain amount of work, a lot of work by a lot of people, with some success in establishing a couple of things. A number still should be increased. A number of venture capital funds, which are gradually growing and getting sufficient capital. But we're also attracting capital from out of state. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at, for example, the annual report of the Venture Capital Association, they'll tell you how many, or what percentage, put it that way, of invested capital in venture capital companies by venture capital funds in Michigan are also invested in by out-of-state investors. And that's a very good development side, that things are beginning to click.
But it's also kind of chicken and the egg, right? It's, to attract more angel investors, you need more venture capital to do the follow-on. But there's no venture capital to follow on unless the angel investing.
There's no question about it. So, are you the hen or the egg, or
right.
what are you, and so on. The question is, how do you get more people to become angels? And we have a lot of inherited wealth in this state, and we have a lot of corporate generated wealth in this state, and and people are generous,
right,
in this state. They give a lot of money to a lot of good causes and so on. They remember the closing of the banks in Michigan in 1933, perhaps, right. You see, and various things keep them out. I think the best way to encourage and develop angels is to have them associate with companies and learn how to become evaluators of businesses, so that when they are approached or when they think of it, they don't have to launch from a point of ignorance. So if I could get, this is why I started the symposium. It was, number one, to bring in investors from outside, but also to get people to come to the damn thing to see how it's done and to learn about it and to realize that it's not mystical, you know, that
It's perfect you're saying, because David and I talked about it. There's a lot of myth or mystical thinking about angel investing.
Yeah.
This is the riskiest endeavor.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to people, if you do it the right way, it's not necessarily as risky as you think it is.
The key word is the right way. And I don't know that there is a pill. I've been searching for it for 50 years. I haven't found it yet. But I think the way to do it is association.
Right.
You can ask any of the folks who were involved in it. But we, for 20 years, I ran a course at Michigan where I would bring in companies, and in some cases just research projects by famous professors and so on, and put teams of a half a dozen on each one of them to give two things: to give the young people the feeling of being involved with a company and listen to the person talk. I almost said guy there, but you know what I'm saying. The person talking about the company, recognizing problems with the company, opportunities with the company, and the first thing you know, you've got these people interested in, well, I could do that. And I think if we had more of the kinds of things that you're doing and things that I used to do at the University of Michigan, and to an extent they're still doing it, that's how we get people interested in, how could I have a piece of that? How
I know,
could
because
do
I
that?
attended a few of those, your students, when they do the showcase and the end of this, presenting the companies. And
Yeah.
it was pretty remarkable. I want to ask you a question, step away from angel investing for a minute, but ask you a question. I grew up in Israel, which is a startup nation of the world. You know, we have a different DNA, different ecosystem, but entrepreneurship, people take, when I ask some young people, what are you starting with entrepreneurship? Is entrepreneurship something that it's either running in your blood and you just need to discover it, or it's something you can be taught?
It's hard to teach it in the sense that, I mean, there's an entrepreneurship program in every university on this side of wherever. And I think that the difficulty is universities employ professors.
Right.
And there are damn few professors who have an ounce of entrepreneurship in their blood at all, and who even think that it's worth doing.
Right.
They think it is trade work. You know, somebody built a new car garage or something like that. It's hard to get the standard professor to think about forming companies. We have all kinds of research in our university and other universities. And the motivation, and this is a terrible thing to say, but the motivation of the president of a university is to have researchers who do outstanding research, get big money from Washington to do it. It comes with a lab. They add to the status of the university. And then and I'm quoting, you know, the provost in a meeting I had a long time ago, he said, we just take the results and throw them over our shoulders. We don't care where they land. Now, they care if they land in California because they create a billionaire and they give money to the university and so on. But what's missing is, you know, the contribution to the economic development of the plot of land on which you live, and that's Michigan. Why are we not encouraging, and beyond what we're doing, the formation of companies?
I know, because there's a little story. I'll tell it for the people, that the audience. So, kind of entrepreneurship, is this in your blood, or is it something you can be taught? So the two brothers, they went to school, and one brother quit school when he was in 6th grade or 7th grade, and the other brother went to university, got a Ph.D., whatever it is, And one day the teacher go to the market and she see Joe standing in the market. They have a produce concession and he's selling and all stuff. He said, Joe, how do you run a business? You quit school when you were in 6th grade. And he says, Mr. Feldstein, I tell you, I'm buying the tomatoes for $1. I sell it for $2. I make 10%. I'm happy. So the point I'm in this story is that entrepreneurship, is this something that is burning in you and you know that that's where you're going? Or some people that go to entrepreneurship just they want to kind of understand the concept of it, right? But is ignorance is a bliss in the startup world?
I just got a letter from the son of a professor at Michigan who is interested in a summer job, and could I help him? And in his letter to me, he told me that he and his buddy started a company because they discovered that the university, I'll say, throws away pieces of equipment that they don't need. They want to replenish or whatever. He and his buddy buy it from the university, mark it up, and sell it. Was he born with it? His dad's a great professor, a good friend of mine. Or did he see, as any one of us could see, an opportunity, if we think about it?
I don't know, but I know that if you have it in your blood, and it doesn't have to come inherited from your dad because he was a businessman, not necessarily. But what I'm saying, two people can look at the same opportunity, one see what he sees, and the other one just going to step over it.
But it wouldn't have been inherited in his part. His dad's a great professor, you know? And so I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know. I just encourage as many as I can.
Right. No, I appreciate it. And I think it's important to people to go into this, to at least explore it in some point if you're not clear that that's what you want to do. But I know, I tell you my story. When I came here with my wife, I thought about doing my MBA and do the whole thing. But then I realized at some point, listen, I'm not going to work for anybody. And because it's not my DNA and I don't need it on the wall to prove that I'm smart. And that was it for me. Some people need a validation. Some people need to spend the money to go to University of Michigan. I have one of my portfolio manager, 2 of her kids in the University of Michigan. I mean, her husband cannot retire until they finish paying for all of it. And I'm saying higher education, and I know that as a professor, it's maybe hard, but I'm saying higher education is overrated when it's come down to all the generic studies, with the exception if you want to be a doctor or an engineer or something very specific. Is this really, in today's world, higher education is going to get you the advantage?
I'll disagree with you in one respect and agree with you in another respect, okay? Where I'll agree is that the universities are turning out the new technology, and that's very important. And any efforts that are being made to kill universities or whatever are shortchanging the country. By the same token, arm-waving professors in the front of the classroom teaching entrepreneurship will never get it done. The only way you'll get it done is hands-on and so on. It always amazes me that Michigan, which has, I would argue, the greatest percentage of hands-on people who can do manufacturing and put things together and build products that make sense and that make money, fails, it seems to me, and I'll explain that in a little while, to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem, you know? I mean, we say we're doing it, and we got all the government things and so on and so forth, but to really get right down to it is tough. So the whole idea of taking things that you can see, thinking about how you can do them better, and acting upon it is the simple, to my mind, the simple formula. And then call yourself an entrepreneur. Most of us can't spell it, you know, and it doesn't matter what you call yourself. If you're just doing it and building a company out of it, to like your tomato example.
I know, because, you know, as human beings, we have a fundamental condition built in our system called fear of failure.
Yeah.
right? So some people don't do it because they felt, a fear of failure. But if you're not going to fail, you're not going to learn anything.
Well, and with failure's a funny thing. I mean, look, if it doesn't work, try it again.
Right.
What the hell is
Edison
mysterious
said
about that?
In Edison,
light bulb.
Yeah, I found 10,000 ways not
But
to make
see, in
it.
the last course, in the course before I
Right.
retired, we had 128 students, okay? Only 50 of them came from the University of Michigan. The rest came from all the other universities in Michigan to come to this class where you worked with companies
Right.
and learned about companies.
So you're
on.
proving my points, and I didn't say what I said to undermine the higher education institution. I'm just saying that
You did
if
a good job of it, but anyway,
I appreciate it, but no, if
they
you
can't fire me now. So,
no, I get it. But I'm saying that if I'm somebody that's looking for a career, if I'm knowing that I want to do something specific, like being a business owner or being a lawyer or something that requires that education, because of that I cannot be that. But a lot of those kids that go learning some general stuff and getting a degree in something that give him no opening for anything, it's kind of like, is this my daughter went to college. My son came to me after, I don't know, struggling in high school. He said, it's not for me, college.
Yeah.
And I said to him, take your time. You may change your mind tomorrow. He started his career in real estate, doing pretty well. Don't need it. I have some friends that finished higher education with degrees and got jobs somewhere, but he's make more money than they are.
And he can still get football tickets.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But coming back to the angel investing point, so yes, University of Michigan doing a lot of it is thanks to your initiative to push to that direction. But University of Michigan produced a lot of, like I said, technologies coming out. The student doing a great job with that. Do you think that there's something with the early stage investing in Michigan? Do you think that the level of early stage investing in the ecosystem is due to the fact that Michigan is very conservative when it's come to capital?
It could be, but I would go back to the late 1800s when maybe the fundamental inventions that we live with, electricity and so on and so forth, came along, and people saw we'd rather get our light from electricity than from whale oil or whatever, some factor like that. And they worked upon it and took initiative.
Right.
And then as you saw those things succeeding, you improved upon them. Henry Ford,
right.
Love him or hate him,
right.
Was a good example of that. And 1915 is the key year in the development of most of what we see around us today, as far as production is concerned. So,
but I'm saying it from perspective. I go to Chicago.
Yeah.
I go to New York.
Yeah.
I go to Silicon Valley. I go to Miami. Even. Yeah. It seems like that people are much easier on a trigger.
True, no doubt. I'll tell you, I came here. The last job that I had in Columbus was to build a cost accounting system for the Huntington Bank, because I'd run my time at Ohio State. And so I think Michigan hired me because they thought I was a banker. And I got involved. I was part of the banking school here and so on. And so the guy that I shared an apartment with in Columbus was a professor up in engineering. And the first thing we did was start a company. And it's that we eventually sold. And so being up at engineering more than I ordinarily would have been put me in close contact with the Institute of Science and Technology, okay? At one point, the guy who ran it came to me and he said, would you take a leave and a grant, okay? And here I am, a rookie. Of course I wanted. I would have, if you said, paint the moon, I would have said yes. But he said, to address the following question, why do so many Michigan tech, that's wrong, not Michigan Tech, but tech
From
startups
Michigan.
in the University of Michigan flame out or move somewhere else and succeed. Flame out from lack of
Right.
access to capital.
Right.
Okay. I took on that job, wrote a book about it, told them how to do it, told them what was wrong, told them how to do it. Most of what I said to do has been done in various ways by various
Right.
groups and so on. But I think I'm the biggest failure in Michigan because I was given that question in 1968. We'd complain about it today.
Right.
Ask the person on the street. He will give you the same question.
Right.
And Lord only knows why. I think we had one of the first clusters. There was a cluster in Akron, Ohio. They made, tires and so on. Michigan,
Right.
the whole Silicon Valley is a cluster modeled after what
I'll
we did
challenge
out
you
here.
with a couple of things. And again, I'm not saying it's not come from an argument, but it's come from, sometimes kind of debating something may open some. I'm trying to unlock something here because from one side, I walk to the street, we're in Birmingham, you see the Capitol in the street.
Yeah.
And you're saying, we're living in the greatest transfer of wealth of all time right now. So all this money is there, but it's not to play. So is this because ignorance? Is because people don't know where to start? Is because people don't understand the asset class? I mean, because financials professionals for years warning investors, don't get to angel investing, it's too risky. Well, stock market is more risky than that right now. So
it is. I'm not a competitor here in the thought process because what I said before, we have more people in this state who know how to do things and build things and make things and sell things than most states have.
Right.
And why we can't pull it together is still a mystery to
somebody
me.
asked me the other day, and it was kind of an interesting question. He said, why are we trying to compete with Silicon? Like there was people that saying, why are we competing with Silicon Valley? We are not a software ecosystem. We are a hard tech ecosystem.
Yeah. Well, and I hear that all the time
Right.
because all of our people go down, turn right and go there, or turn left and go to either coast, and we seem unable to capture them here. And with some exceptions, we've got a growing number of unicorns in the state right now, and so I'm not willing to surrender in any sense. And we've got to get closer ties between those people and people who are not doing that, who could be in a position of doing that and are not doing that.
Right. And it's
I tried to do it through the university, and by and large, they don't want to do that. They want to keep doing research that they throw over their shoulder.
I know. I mean, it's interesting because I also, and I'm not from here, but David Weaver, which David retired last year. David created the first angel group in the state of Michigan in 2001. Yeah. And the thing is that it's interesting that my experience from somebody that, well, I'm not from Michigan. I live here for 35 years, so I can consider myself born in Michigan.
Yeah.
I live here more years than I lived in Israel. But the point is that what we see in the market here is that the ecosystem, we call the ecosystem, in Silicon Valley, it's one ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
In Michigan, it's not. There's kind of like Detroit, there's Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids. Right. It's not one ecosystem. Right. And although we are Skip tried to put us together with the Michigan Angel community and the monthly call, I don't think the traction is there of what he intended originally, and I had him in the first podcast talking about it. And even David, every angel group working the whole deal flow, do their own thing, and by sure luck, we kind of cross, Point Angel invest in my company, but it's not like they pick up the phone. Hey, David, look at this company. Hey, Judy, look at this company. It's kind of. In Tel Aviv, it's the most condensed ecosystem you can find on the planet.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so angel investors, in some point, when you walk into a cohesive ecosystem, it's easy to get enrolled to play with versus it's kind of, I'm from Ann Arbor. I'm trying to get people from Ann Arbor to come to our event over here. It's like a different
Tough.
planet.
Yeah.
It's like, forget the distance, just different planet, right?
Yeah.
I go to Ann Arbor, I always feel a little bit of an outsider.
That's true. That's
Right?
true. That's true. I'll invite you. How about that?
No,
I hear exactly what you're saying. There's no doubt about it.
I want to kind of ask you something, or get your perspective on it. So I kind of noticed that the one thing that interesting enough, so there's like Detroit, there's maybe Auburn Hills, Rochester area, and then there's Oakland County, and then there's, which is before Birmingham Angel was nothing going on in Oakland County. It was Detroit to Ann Arbor to Grand Rapids to North Michigan, all this stuff. And suddenly I said, wait a minute, Oakland County is one of the richest county in the world.
No
The money
doubt.
is here.
Yeah.
So we need to do something. We went to Oakland County, and they were allowing to put some budget together, and we're looking for the right time to do it, like an Oakland County Heritage Stage Summit. To basically, because it seems like that's Michigan DNA. So it says to the Oakland County people, this is an Oakland County event. So if you're in Oakland County, come here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's going on in the ecosystem. Bring all the stakeholders to tell them what's going on. We need your money. Basically saying it very simple. And there's also the Midwest politeness that you don't see in other ecosystem. When I go in New York, for example, the ecosystem, and they know I'm an investor, I get those blunt kind of like thing. And in Michigan, we try to be nice with each other.
When we go, we're spectators.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
we're not going there as investors for the most part. Yeah.
we but nevertheless, it's just the directness. My daughter lives in Chicago, in the suburbs of Chicago. Every time I go to Chicago, it seems like people are easy on the trigger. It's like you can get things done quicker.
Yeah.
It's just because there's no Wall Street in Michigan. It's Chicago, New York is more Wall Street money.
How many investment banking houses do you have here? Investment banking now, not venture capital.
I don't know.
There are 2 that I know of.
Okay.
And I've talked to a good many corporate finance people.
Right.
We invest in venture capital. We got two funds in China.
Right.
So China is less risky than Washtenaw County or Wayne County or whatever. No, they laugh and so on. It's as if it's so obvious it's the nose on your face, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
It shouldn't be,
Not only it shouldn't be, it's just that, there's a lot of innovation in Michigan. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of bright minds. And you start seeing companies coming outside of Michigan to Michigan, especially with New Lab and everything else. But if you had this bank account that you can write them the small checks to get going, they'll stay.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on? I mean, I see so many doctors, friend of mine, that selling practices right now. They get to the 60 and get 10, $20 million exit. And I said, well, what are you going to do with your money? You're going to buy real estate? You're going to put it in the stock market? What, the financial planner can give you 10% return a year? Then why not angel investing? And I'm not saying take all the money you have and take a risk, but 80% of it, 20% of it?
I think the only way, if you and I set out today to try to do it, who do we aim at? I would take a doctor, let's say, or a group of doctors to the point, and figure out what kind of deals they might have a competitive advantage in doing. In other words, they know the technology, they know the other docs around the country, and start with that, and see if it doesn't.
I tell you, we had the event last week, and we had 3 medical related companies. We have TRV, we had Intro Biosystem, and Cultural Well. Cultural Well is a company on our watch list for a while, but and then I have a friend, a doctor, a cigar buddy of mine. I'm not going to mention his name. That I'm trying to invite for 2 years, and every time that we have an event, there's some conflict he can make. Last week, before the event, I said, by the way, we have an event on Wednesday. And excuse me, I didn't say event. I said, what are you doing on Wednesday? He looked at his calendar and said, actually, it's my wife's girlfriend date out, so I'm not doing anything. I said, great, you're coming to Birmingham. So he did. And then the day after I met him, he was jumping up and down.
Yeah.
He said, wow, I didn't know this is what you're talking about. I like this company. and he's a OGYN, and this is in his field, and
There
it's
you go.
not. If I get him here, they sold. To get him here is the challenge.
Yeah.
It's kind of like doctors, in particularly. I mean, they work all day and they don't want to hear.
Football tickets. I'm telling you.
Okay,
You don't think?
maybe.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, that may be something to
Right.
laugh about, but there are other things. I don't know, Red Wings game, if they ever start winning games again,
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
right.
Because when people come here, they say, "Man, I never thought of Detroit like this," or
Right. David said something earlier, which I tend to maybe agree with. So I have this baby boomer that just sold family businesses. I have two of them that 300 million. The other one sold for 400 million, and they're sitting on a ton of cash.
Yeah.
But they wake up in the morning, they don't have the necessity to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
So that's what they do.
yeah.
Nothing.
I'm playing golf. I'm
Yeah.
taking a trip or whatever it is.
It's all right.
Right. No, absolutely.
Invest the money with a manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So but I'm thinking about this. Maybe something we're missing in the message we're sending out to people, that we have the right hook to those people to get their listening, or we just need to keep doing the work.
I have
No clue.
I have no. I have the I have the record. I have the data of every venture capital fund
Right.
that's been created since 1980, and we're doing a study of them. And one of the objectives in that study is to simply show people how they get started, what they do, how much money they make, the returns, et cetera, and to drum into people once again the fact that the place to sell potatoes is where they haven't got potatoes.
Right.
Start a fund when you can obviously study, do an analysis of it,
Right.
which means you had to find out, you had to
Right.
learn from somebody
Right.
how to identify a market and how to enter the market. It's marketing one, for God's sake, you know. And find people who are of like mind. Go around and touch people and convince them, the way you do in any bloody business.
Oh,
You know?
I appreciate. I'm absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no
I
other
know
way.
I'm preaching to the choir, but we're both talking to the mic.
Peter Thiel in his book wrote, I mean, it's not about reinventing anything, and it's not about creating a new future. It's about goddamn introducing a product that people want and willing to pay for it. It's kind of thing.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Another investor that says that I talked to in Israel quite a bit is a super angel, if you want to call him this way. He said, I prefer a company. If you give me a company with a lousy product but a lot of traction, I would prefer a company with better product and less traction.
Yeah.
Because
The
longevity.
traction will come.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's but you heard about the big exit with Wiz, right?
Yeah.
To Google. So one of my friends is an original investor. I missed the boat in this one. I'm not going to kill myself over it, but I did. He put $1.25 million in the company 3 years ago. He's cashing $275 million.
Yeah.
The early stage investor had 222x return.
Mm-hmm.
The VC had between 25 to 7x, depending on what stage they're in. And I showed the slide here in last event. And I said, guess, I know that's one in a century, but it's illustrating the return that Angel's going to get versus the VC if the things succeed in many ways, right? You can invest with the VC with a later stage, but you write bigger checks.
Yeah.
And
The answer I always get to that sort of example, if I ever put it up, is, oh yeah, those guys are from California, right? They know
from
all
Tel
of
Aviv.
it. Just saying,
I
that's
know.
the answer that I get.
I know.
So
But the point behind all of it is that there is, if you are an investor that have some intelligence and business experience, and most angels come from business, family businesses, operators with experience. They're not just anybody, and they're willing to put some time. By the way, the concept of retirement came when the life expectancy was 65.
Yeah.
Right. Today, you live until 100. So
I'm retired, but not tired. Okay.
Exactly.
That's
We have a joke,
Yeah.
the Israelis, especially in my family, retirement is for losers. It's kind of like,
okay.
you know, yeah, I mean, enjoy yourself, play some golf here and there, but,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
you
no.
need to keep the box going, right?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Not me.
But the point is that those people looking for putting money to work, but also transfer their legacy and knowledge, but also put their hands in some
Yeah.
things here and there, tinker.
That's
So I think from what I'm taking from conversation with you and other people who are on the podcast is that we may missing something in the way we communicate that. We may have to tweak the communication piece of it.
well. That's why I think, you can tell me that it's tough to do or whatever, but bring people along. Bring people to like your friend.
Right.
You force them,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
to come in and attend a meeting, attend a board meeting or something like that, or show the product, whatever. And 11 out of 10 times they will say, geez, I'd like one of those, or it's
Right.
simple to make, or what, how much are you selling? Well, the next thing you know, you got them hooked.
And plus, I tell a lot of those investors that I meet casually in Starbucks or any other events, I said, listen, you don't have to listen to only what I'm saying. I'm obviously, I'm not objective because I won't promote Birmingham Angels and what we
Yeah.
do. But nevertheless, I mean, you graduate from what university, from Michigan State, go to university alumni, talk to those people,
Yeah.
see what the university is doing. You can start with an association with your own,
Yeah.
alumni people. To get, I mean, the Blue Fund. I mean, some of the alumni can put money in the Blue Fund.
No
and,
doubt about it.
you
No
know,
doubt about
kind of
it.
thing, right?
I mean, there's, I got a list few weeks ago of the companies now coming out of, what used to be called tech transfer at the university. There should be 50
I know. I got it
people
from
waiting.
Michael. I got it from
you know,
Michael.
yeah.
To make,
You know.
kind of thing. But again, our problems as angels, as an investors, because we have the fund. We have Great Lake Angel Fund, which
Yeah.
is an angel. It's a venture fund, but it's an angel
Yeah.
stage, and we have Birmingham Angels. My issue is not a deal flow. I'm subscribing to Michael's deal flow. I'm subscribing to MIT. I'm
Yeah.
subscribing to the Technion. I'm subscribing to
Yeah.
Columbia. I mean, I got deal flow up to here. We just need the people that are willing to jump in the checkbook.
No,
and say,
no,
okay,
no, I understand. But you got that.
Right.
That you should be sending that around.
Right.
You didn't send me one,
Right.
And I mean, I got one from them, but it's a dogfight now. And if you're getting those company lists and so on, and so should I, we should be sending them to people.
So we're starting a new initiative which I think Tim shared with you. We call it MichiganStart.com.
Mm-hmm.
And using our platform that we developed to have a centralized deal flow in Michigan. So every investor go
Yeah.
to Michigan Start and just look at all the company raising
Yeah.
capital instead of everybody hiding some of the company under their.
Exactly.
you know,
That
Because I talk to
that
Judy.
exists.
Yeah,
that
I
exists.
sometimes carrying a quick intro of biosystems. I heard about it on the grapevine
Yeah.
and invite her immediately to come before she closed the round. But
Yeah.
I didn't get an email from the other angel group say, hey, you should take a look at this company.
Exactly.
So it's almost like not part of the culture.
And what's the culture?
It's kind of like
I want to have it.
I'm doing my
I'm
own
not
thing.
going to do it, but I'm not going to give it to you.
I'm going to do my own thing.
I don't want you to be the guy with the 400,000 rate of return. That I'm not talking about myself.
Right.
I'm talking,
Right.
that may be the attitude. Who knows? I don't know. And they're safer, and it'll go away, and they'll forget about it, and there's
Right.
no skin off anybody's.
Yeah, I mean, I
But-
watched the video that you introduced. What's his name? The investor that put money in dual securities.
Yeah, Doug.
Doug.
Yeah.
Put 50,000 in cash. What, 50 million?
Yeah,
It's like
those are my students. My
I
two
know.
students.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So
in my class.
my point is that this is 1 in a million, maybe, but when you hit the home run with angel investing, your multiples are
Yeah.
crazy.
Go ask the Tigers if they would swing at a ball, to get a home run.
I'll you talk about home runs. I'm going to take some singles.
Yeah.
But so the important, again, I'm illustrating the importance of early stage capital because that's it's like the the food chain is that the angel investing, venture capital, and private equity, and then institutional money.
Yeah.
Without the angel investing activity, there's no VC activity, there's no private equity. You kind of turn it around and say, with no VC, there's no, I mean, angels may feel a little bit, but I found out that angels don't care about that much because there's venture groups all over, and you don't have to raise it in Michigan necessarily.
True.
When you go Series A,
True.
B, and C.
Yeah, but and there are, we were just counting it yesterday, there's something like 15 states where there is no venture capital fund.
Right.
And I find it hard to believe that there aren't startups in those states. So
They are. They just go outside to look for money.
that may very well be.
And
They're
by
not
the way,
counted.
being from Ohio, so David and I argue about it, but some of the data that I pulled recently, in the top 20 states in early stage capital, we trailing Ohio.
Listen, I've been holding back. You see, I'm a very polite fellow, and I wasn't going to bring that up.
Right.
But once again, the heart of it all, Ohio, why don't you do something about that?
No, I'm saying if I trail behind Pennsylvania or Chicago,
but of all the
Ohio,
places, exactly. Well, I'll tell you, the guy with the biggest fund in Ohio was my teaching assistant here in the MBA program.
Okay.
So and he spent many years on the West Coast and then came back to Ohio and started.
Yeah, but that's a blue ocean strategy. You go to a place that there's no other players, and you become the kind of
and there's nothing wrong with that at all, and we do get a nice backflow, so to speak, of people who, when they get in these places and they find that they get a couple little ankle biters, then they're looking for good schools and nice places to live and stuff like that. They come back to the Midwest. And we're all the Midwest, and because they just like it here. And that may be the cost of capital for us. I don't know. You look at it, and there's five, I think it is central pots of venture capital activity in the country.
And plus, I think that we misunderstood or miscommunicated, however you want to look at that, Michigan, outside of Michigan. Because when I travel outside of Michigan, I say Michigan, everybody say automotive. And I said, it's not the largest industry in Michigan. And they say, what is? Say healthcare. And they said, really?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
And how many of them don't know how much defense work we have here in Michigan?
True enough. Yeah.
So there's kind of bad, but not enough.
Yeah, we undersell. There's no question. And it should do more of it. And I'll tell you, and this is touting Ann Arbor a little bit, but people say to me, boy, oh boy, no matter where you are in the world, a little much, I know, but as soon as you say you're from Ann Arbor, the conversation changes. And people, oh, my cousin went there, oh, my aunt went there, oh, my uncle went there, oh, my, blah, 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 So I helped them start their venture capital industry in Australia, and everybody there, go to Japan, go anywhere you want. Detroit is still
there's a big
highly
story
recognized
about this guy from England, I think, or wherever, that he actually he said it's easier to raise money in Ann Arbor than over there in Europe.
Well, there you go. That's because he was from somewhere else.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But so it's if we have some takeaways from this conversation, is why we need to keep grinding it and keep doing the work one investor at a time.
No doubt. No doubt.
We need to do a better job communicating it.
Yep.
And 3, we need to tell a better story about Michigan outside of Michigan, so people know that
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Been doing that for 50 years. I'm the biggest failure in Michigan.
Yeah, what they call the book that's called Chop Wood, Carry Water, whatever that.
Oh, I don't know.
You remember? It's like,
missed that one.
Kind of wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
You need to keep doing what you're doing. So apparently we're doing what we need to do, and we may have expectation it's going to be faster than slower.
Yeah, but you're a good example of somebody who appeared on this scene. Now, you've been here for a long time, but you suddenly appeared, and you're doing it, and you strategically bought this big building, and you have,
We rented, not bought it.
well, sorry, okay. You've got all these events that you show and so on, and it's all commercial. There's nothing wrong with being commercial.
No, not at all.
Except when you do it at a university, it's somehow, it's got to be academic,
Right.
not commercial.
I don't know.
And the only people that make money out of it is the university rent that they take from you to use their buildings.
I get it. Our goal this year, all the people around Cities Adventure and Birmingham Angels, is to double our group size.
Yeah.
If we do that, we figure that we'd be in a position that there's going to be no limitation in terms of, by the end of the year, we're going to have about 85 companies in our portfolio.
I think that, and there's the secret of how it's going to be done.
Right.
Because it's going to be you, it's going to be him, it's going to be her. We got a lot of hers in
Right.
here now, which is tremendous. My daughter works for a private equity fund in Philadelphia, and so it's just happening. And the women who are going through the business school, who own businesses, start businesses, work for young businesses, is growing as well. So I don't know. It's we'll find our way. I think it all comes down to our particular cluster was built around automotive production, and that always was the dominant feature.
Yeah,
of
it's almost
Michigan,
like it's almost like unconscious part of our culture is that
it is, yeah,
maker's culture.
yeah,
Go to work.
and people. Yeah, the funny thing is, there's 69 startups in Traverse City.
Yeah.
To your earlier point of it, it's
Traverse City, by the way, it was kind of funny. Traverse City attract people from different reasons, but it did.
they do it all in the summer, of course, but
No, I know, I get it. I get it.
but nonetheless, there
Yeah.
it is, and
No.
it doesn't have to be here or any of the
Right.
usual spots.
I don't know what Doug Song is doing with the Michigan Founders Fund and all that. I mean, it's all contributed. And
Yeah.
like Detroit Black's Founders Saturday, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
It's all kind of good initiatives, but all those initiatives are the kind of, what they say, we say as an investor, passion is the fuel, not the engine.
yeah,
You need to find an engine to put it in
Yeah.
to move.
no doubt,
Great
no
motion.
doubt.
So I appreciate
And there is further no doubt that money moves the wheel. You can't do it for nothing, because at some point things have to be bought, people have to be paid.
No, I get it. Well, I always appreciate your wisdom.
Well, if you call this wisdom, you should go to university again or something like that. I mean, this is just a guy
Yeah.
trying to answer the first question that took him away from being a banker.
Don't undersell yourself, but the point is that leave you with the story, kind of post-retirement. So there's a young man go to the river, see the fishermen fish, and he's sitting under the young man sitting under the tree with a big book, and he's reading the book. So the old man asked him, "What are you reading?" It's just that's the wisdom of my ancestors. So the old man said, "Would you care if I borrow the book?" And he give him the book. A couple of days later, they come, and the old man take the book and kind of throw it away to the young man. And from the center, they pick it up, and he said, "What are you doing? That's the wisdom of my ancestors." He said, "No, that's just the book. The wisdom they took to the grave."
Well, I'm still some distance from the grave.
No, I
I
know.
don't intend to visit there anytime soon.
Hopefully not.
I still play hockey. I skate twice as hard and half as fast. So I intend to keep going. So.
I appreciate it, David, and for sure we'll find another time during the year to
Absolutely.
get you here again.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
and talk
Well,
about it.
make me a member of your cadre, and I'll do my best to get in here.
Yep,
when I
we'll
can.
get you involved.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Pat.
Okay,
Take
good.
care.
Are you interested in becoming a member and joining our group? Please contact Jerron York by phone 248-981-6688 or visit our members' website by using the following QR code. We are looking forward to talking to you soon.